So from the views of young people to taking a look now at municipalities, we're joined in our studios by Peter Teixeira. He is the mayor of the Midvaal. The Midvaal boasting the most financially stable metro and also boasting a clean audit. The mayor of the Midvaal making it known a little bit earlier on that even people who drive on the roads of the Midvaal are not subjected to what the rest of the country is subjected to in terms of potholes. Peter, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. So maybe let's go back. Do you remember when you joined the Democratic Alliance and why?
Look, I joined in 2014. I've always been an activist in my community, and I started looking around to say which party speaks to me in my beliefs, my values, my principles, and I found that the DA was the right party for me. And this is how I then became involved in my community. But also being a community leader and being involved in the community, the actual residents started saying, but you need to put your hand up. We need you to be our voice in council. And this is how I became part of the Democratic Alliance, and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Right. What is it about the party's policies that actually spoke to you, or which ones spoke to you?
Look, I think the non-racialism, if you look at me, I come from a mixed relationship, if I may put it that way. My dad is Portuguese and my mom is Tonga. So, the party's values and principles just spoke to me, and I thought, look, in the South Africa that we live in, we need a party that speaks for all South Africans and not just based on your skin color and so forth. And I think that it's a perfect choice that I've made. And, I wish all South Africans can actually be like myself and actually vote for the DA, because the DA is the only solution to the problems we have in this country.
It's not all bed and roses. We'll get into that in a few moments. But I want to take a look at the secret to success for the Midvaal. As we mentioned, you're not only pothole-free, but you've attained clean audits and you are the most financially stable municipality. How do you get it right? Is it also part of the inheritance that was left by those who came before you?
Look, definitely. I think my predecessors laid a very solid foundation for me to continue prospering. But also there is proper sheer political will in Midvaal. So we want to serve. We actually understand why we occupy these positions. It's not here to enrich ourselves, but to actually serve the residents that have elected us into these positions. But also the secret is also hiring competent staff, employees within the municipality, so that we don't compromise on. There is no catered employment in a DA-led municipality, and certainly in Midvaal that will never ever happen, because after all, I'm a politician. I must give the political direction, and there is someone within the administration that must implement my political direction. And if that person is not competent, we will both sink the ship. So I think the secret is that we employ competent staff, and we give opportunities to young people where we look at innovation. There's many innovative ideas in Midvaal because of our young people and so forth. There's also a good staff retention policy that we've put in place where we offer incentives to our employees. So the staff morale is excellent within the municipality. And we are also very strong in terms of being a collective. As the caucus or the government of the day, we work together. And I think this is what makes us very successful in Midvaal.
As you said, it's not all bed and roses. If you take a look at the city of Tshwane right now, it is in financial and not only political distress, which is impacting service delivery severely. The former mayor of the city of Tshwane leaving it without a clean audit, with very big concerns from the Auditor General. So I guess in terms of what it is that you are doing, right, and what now Cillier Brink is going to be tasked with doing, will you be exchanging notes? If so, what do they look like?
No, certainly. I think within the DA we are a family, and we benchmark a lot, so we try to learn from one another. And also you must remember in Tshwane that my colleagues, they didn't inherit a very stable government, and there's been a rot there that they've inherited and trying to fix. And to try to stabilize an institution as big as Tshwane is not going to take 5 or 6 years. It takes a very long time to stabilize the institution. But one thing I know about Cillier is that he's very committed, he's dedicated, he's the right man for the job, and I believe that he will turn all the wrongs that are happening in Tshwane and ensure that he actually serves all the people of Tshwane.
Peter, you speak of the party having inherited some of the problems that were already there. Granted, however, it was under the tenure of the mayor that billions of rands were fruitlessly spent, and there was wasteful expenditure. There was the cooking of the books. And so this notion that the party does not take responsibility, do you believe it is a fair assessment, as many sectors of society see the Democratic Alliance as being able to point out the shortcomings of other parties, but when it comes to self-correcting, you fall short?
Look, we're always learning as a Democratic Alliance. And remember, like I said, it doesn't take 5 or 6 years to actually stabilize a government, especially one that is as big as Twan. And also, it's not only about the politicians. I mentioned earlier that you've got to get the administration right as well. There are officials, technocrats, that are actually qualified in terms of doing their job. And if those people are not supporting you, it becomes very difficult. Obviously within the media, we look at the politicians first. We are the ones that got to be accountable. But there's actually officials that we give direction to, and if that is not going okay, and if there's elements of sabotage there, you may just, I'm not saying this is what happened in Tshwane, but it may just happen that these people may sabotage you and stop you from actually succeeding.
The party is indicating that they are a step closer. I think speaker after speaker this morning has actually spoken about that you're right on the tail of the African National Congress, and come 2024, the Democratic Alliance is sure that whomever is going to be elected here is going to represent not only the DA but the country in terms of being the president of the Republic. Who are you looking at as you take a look at this Congress? Is it obvious to you which way you're voting?
For me, it's John Steenhuisen. He's the right man
why?
for the job. He's competent. He has the experience. He's been around. He understands our values, our principles. He speaks to me, he speaks to my heart, he speaks to many South Africans' hearts. And he's the right man for the job. We've seen what he does in Parliament, how he holds the ruling party accountable. And I think that he should be given an opportunity by all South Africans to lead this country. I mean, we've shown where the DA governs, whether it's here in Midvaal or in the Western Cape. We've showed that we serve our people, and the quality of life is very good wherever the DA governs, and that's been proven. There's facts to support this. I mean, we spoke about the clean audits. We spoke about the municipality being the most financially sustainable in Midvale, and many of the other DA-led municipalities in the Western Cape can also speak similar or the same that I'm telling you now.
There are young people who are going to be voting for the very first time. There's this new trend. It's called La Twizy. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Recently they went to the Mall of Africa. They caused disruptions, no destruction of property, but as we understand it, as we've been doing our investigations, it is a well-run machine. These young people know exactly how to organize themselves. And we ask them, well, you will be voting for the very first time. What is it that you want to see? And many of them say, we want results, and we want better for ourselves. And that's just but one example. What is the party offering to those who are saying, well, we are hopeless, and I don't know if I should come out in 2024, let alone register to vote?
Look, all they have to do is look at where the DA governs and see what the DA is doing there in terms of improving people's lives. I mean, you look at from a Midvaal point of view, we're seeing an influx of people coming from all over the country, seeking greener pastures. Our unemployment rate in Midvaal is 17.5%. I mean, that's one of the lowest in the country. So people are seeing opportunities in that municipality. They want to come there. And these young people must look at that. They've, some of them have given up. They of the view that there's no hope within the country because of what the current ruling government is doing. There are no programs for young people. Young people are involved in drugs. They're doing all sorts of negative things and so forth. So I want to call on all young people to say, let's rally behind the Democratic Alliance. This is a party for the future. We're here to serve. There's programs for young people that are in place. I mean, all you have to do is look at Nicholas Sinyati, our young leader who spoke just after me. There are plans. There's people that are vibrant and so forth. So, yeah, definitely let them rally behind the DA.
Yeah, young people want to go beyond the politics. They want to see a material change. And it's not just young people. I guess it's many South Africans as well. Taking a look at 2024, much has been said about coalition governance. In fact, in one of your resolutions, you speak about that the country could very well go into coalition governance in 2024. Is it clear to you as a party member what the direction will be should the party go in there?
Look, I'm not a big fan of coalitions. I think in Midvale we are spoiled because when we rule, we rule with an outright majority.
Some 22
and therefore,
years?
Yes, for 22 years, and we can make decisions on our own. So I'm not a big fan of coalition government, but however, I think come 2024 we will have to deal with a coalition government because I believe that the ANC will drop much below 40%, somewhere in the 30% and so forth. And this will give us an opportunity to actually speak to other political parties and actually start getting South Africa working. So yes, I'm not a big fan of coalition government, but when it comes, the party is ready to manage that coalition government.
Tanya Campbell has been booted out as the mayor of Ekurhuleni. You saw that play itself out and you thought what?
Look, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. I think you look at Ekurhuleni, it's one of our largest metros. It's sad. I really sympathize with the people of Ekurhuleni because what this does is it's brought in someone that is unknown from a very small political party. I'm not sure what difference he's going to make. I'm not sure what policies he stands for, what he believes in. But I think the biggest losers there will be the people of Ekurhuleni. Tanya was doing an excellent job. Like I said to you earlier, it's not easy turning around an ANC-led government which has been at the helm for many years and so forth. And the systems that are in place were probably always going to work against Tanya. She's an excellent mayor. She did well. And I think she just didn't get all the credit that she needed.
If we get into the business of today, because after this tea break, you are going to be going into a session when you take a look at constitutional amendments, some 80 of them. There is a proposal that the Democratic Alliance, at least 6 months before the Congress, the Federal Congress, you have a policy conference, if you will, a suggestion that is not supported. What do you make of that? Should the Democratic Alliance have a policy conference before you come here to elect leaders?
Look, I think we should, because most of the time we would receive the material well in time to go through it and so forth. But for your ordinary activist that actually, or delegate that comes and votes, I'm not sure if they would understand the policies or the policy amendments that we would be making and so forth. So I think that it should be that there's enough time, ample time, and there's actually people that can actually workshop some of these resolutions and so forth and make people understand and so forth. But I think that with the new party leadership that we will elect today, they will definitely steer us in that right direction.
Because tomorrow you go into the session of resolutions, and one of the resolutions is actually to beef up not only the knowledge but the giving of each and every single candidate, so that when they go out there, they are able to deliver a message beyond the ANC is not doing this, the ANC is doing that. And so, as you've agreed, that perhaps there does need to be a policy conference so that these people who are sitting here are able to communicate the knowledge. What is then the resistance? And do you trust then that coming out of these conferences or this Congress, elective Congress, then the delegates here are able to clearly communicate the policies of the party if they don't know what they're about?
Look, it's important that we actually have this conference. I think South Africans are tired of hearing about what the ANC does wrong and so forth. We all know that the ANC is corrupt and they are not servicing our people and so forth. But, South Africans are also saying that as the DA, what can you offer? And it's very important that the activists that we have on the ground can actually articulate our policies and our manifesto, our resolutions and so forth, and they can speak to them adequately and actually understand them. This is why I agree with you, a policy conference before a Congress can actually work and empower and capacitate also all the other activists, and not just people like myself as public representatives, but also your ordinary activists that are on the ground.
Absolutely, because there's many things here that are being proposed, including refusal of membership, and then Glenys Breitenbach also goes on with the constitutional amendments. There's one where she speaks about getting the Democratic Alliance's house in order for the court to be able to hold. How important is that? And again, bringing it to the everyday person, more so the some 2,000 people that are attending this conference, to be in line with not only what they need to do on the ground, but what the highest echelons of the party say, that it trickles down.
Look, I also think it's the responsibility of the delegates to actually read these documents that the party issues to them and actually understand. I think we have a platform where if one does not understand any of the policies or resolutions, they can ask. There are leaders, there are constituency heads in each constituency. There are branches, there are leaders in those structures that can actually assist and actually get people to understand exactly what is being proposed and so forth.
Absolutely. So taking a look at the road to 2024, you're confident that the Midvale will deliver?
Oh, definitely, without doubt. Without doubt. And the proof is in the pudding. Come to Midvale, come have a look. I will invite you and I will show you what we're talking about. So this is not just big talk. There's actual service delivery on the ground. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. There are areas where we are falling short, which we need to improve on. You know, this is one thing that's good about the DA. We always acknowledge where we are failing and what there is, what we are going to do to remedy the situation. And I think that's the difference between us and the African National Congress. You know, we are accountable to our residents and our public. So Midvale is a great place. The quality of life there is excellent. And I invite you to come and see for yourself.
We'll definitely take you up on that offer. But you mentioned that you are aware of some of the shortfalls. Maybe identify one or two for us?
Look, most of them are actually from other spheres of government. You know, your provincial departments, issues of home affairs, issues of health, you know, even national, the South African Police Services, but also on us. You know, we're seeing an influx of people coming into Midvale, seeking a better life and so forth, which means some of our informal settlements now grow, and we've got to cater for services for those people, and also liaise with the provincial Department of Human Settlements, to actually build RDP houses for our people. So it does become a challenge. You look at our neighboring municipality, Mfuleni municipality, which is one of the worst municipalities in the country. You know, they are failing. So their failures means if they're not collecting waste in Mfuleni, which is right on our border, people take their waste and they dump it in Midvale, and we must go and collect it and so forth. So those are some of the challenges that I'm referring to. So I don't want to create an impression that we are 100% perfect. There's always room for improvement, you know, and that's what I believe in. But we are committed, we are dedicated, we are on the ground, and it's full steam ahead.
Peter Teixeira, we look forward to coming to the Midvale Newzroom Afrika and seeing exactly how you are getting it right and those areas of improvement and what needs to be done. Thank you very much for your time.
Fantastic.
Happy voting.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Peter Teixeira is the mayor of the Midvale. The Democratic Alliance has been in governance there for some 22 years.